This is the MLW Radio Network.
Welcome, everybody, to the Mind of the Meanie, your weekly peek into the world according to former WWE superstar and ECW original, the Blue Meanie. We'll cover wrestling, music, movies, sports, and lots of useless knowledge, all contained in the Mind of the Meanie. I am your tour guide, Josh Shernoff, and he is the Blue Meanie. Meanie, what's on your mind?
Who are you? Excuse me?
Yeah, let me allow me to reintroduce myself. It's me, Josh Shernoff, from outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
I'll cue the theme to Welcome Back, Connor.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Welcome back, Shernoff.
No, it is so good to be back. Thank you to Adam Bernard.
You're a busy boy.
Oh man, I'm busy. I am very busy. But it is so good to be back. Adam has been at this point. It's not even to call him the temporary tour guide. I think in the last 5 weeks I've been here twice. So
he's like a guy who studied how to take DDP yoga, and now he's certified, kind of thing. You know? He's certified to co-host or host the Mind of the Meanie.
Now, you guys have been doing an amazing job.
You found him, so
then I'll take all the credit. I've been
go ahead, man.
I orchestrated some amazing episodes that I wasn't a part of. No, but I do want to start off, not to start off on a downside or whatever, but
right.
I want to thank everybody. There were some very nice posts on social media, and in the I got private messages from some of the Pod Squad and also in the Patreon Facebook group sending condolences. So the reason I wasn't here last week is my grandfather passed away. And it was so it's been a tough week. He was a little inside baseball. My shoot job in commercial real estate was his business that he welcomed me into when I was 19. And without him, I would not have any of what I have today. The freedom in my schedule that business allows me is what allows me to do this, what allows me to work for Fight. If I had to have a regular 9 to 5 and I didn't have my own business and of course, my brother as well. But if I didn't have my own business, I wouldn't be able to just say, oh, you need me to do a Fight and Focus at 2:00 in the afternoon at some point, or, everything I'm doing now, is because of that opportunity. But more so than anything else, he was just I could not have asked for a better grandfather. I was very lucky. I had, 2 amazing parents, and while I never met my dad's parents, my mom's parents, we've talked about before last year, we lost my grandmother and now my grandfather, but I got to grow up with them as like a second set of parents. We were incredibly close. Meanie, I know what that is like to be, to have grandparents. Some people, and there's nothing wrong with this, some people have grandparents who they're the people you kind of just go and visit, every 6 weeks or every couple months you go and you see, the old people and I was very fortunate that that's not what my relationship was. And growing up, they were always a huge part of my life and huge supporters of everything that I've done. And my grandfather is 94 years old, so he lived a very long life. He was not done. He had, he always, if he would have been able to be in the office, he would have been in the office on his last day. And unfortunately, what I do think, since we have a bit of a platform here, his health wasn't great. His heart was weak. He was, 94. But he somehow even being triple vaccinated, somehow caught COVID. And he started just kind of having a little bit of trouble breathing. And about 2 days later, he was gone. So the lesson in that is get vaccinated, wear your mask. I think we've all said that enough on here.
Yeah.
But he was definitely the type of person that it took something like COVID to take him down, because otherwise I think he would have lived to 300. He had a very strong will, and I've tried to learn a lot from him in business. I've learned a ton from him in business. And one of the big things that he would always say is, when they say no, that's when we get started. And I think that that's something, that's advice that can apply to people in all parts of business and parts of life. Unless we're talking about like a dating situation. If they say no, then no means no. So let's make that incredibly clear. But I just wanted to thank everybody and just explain that while I have been incredibly busy doing stuff for Fight, I was in Chicago, I was in St. Louis, and that's why I hadn't been here for some of it. There are 2 weeks that I missed. The first week I missed was after a year and a half, finally being able to go to Florida to visit my grandfather and introduce him to my youngest son, and outside of FaceTime, which, by the way, at 94 years old, that man FaceTimed every single day. He figured out how to do it. So thank God I was able to, my family went down, and that was the first week that I missed here on the show, was to be able to go and spend that time with him that make up for all the time that we lost because of COVID. And then last week, of course, wasn't here because we were down there for a funeral. But we will get into much happier things, because I know we both have a lot of fun stuff to really tell each other, because we haven't had much time to talk. But I just didn't want to start the show without paying some tribute to him, and also thanking all of you, the Pod Squad. I posted something because I kind of wanted you to know why I've been abandoning all of you. And I wanted to honor him, but the outpouring of support and love from all of you was incredible, and I appreciate it. My family appreciates it. So thank you.
Yeah, man, I totally feel you, and my sincerest condolences, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And I appreciated you. Obviously Meanie reached out outside of just right now on the show. Meanie.
Oh yeah.
Spoken.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it very much. And
I was raised by my grandparents, and they were just as much my parents as my mom. I never knew my dad, but they raised me, and I guess they said there's a bond between grandchildren and grandparents because they have a common enemy.
Yeah.
So
there's truth. But yeah, man. So let's talk a little bit about you're wearing a shirt, for the people who aren't watching this on Patreon, the "Who's Your Buddy" shirt.
Man.
Let's jump right into it, man. Unfortunately, because of what was going on, I had to, which was another reason why I wanted to get it out there, because I felt horrible about having to miss that. But Meanie, tell us about the experience at the Brothers Gather, at their store, and the signing, the meet and greet that you did. I know you had told me before you didn't go into any detail because we didn't want to, leave it in the hall. But you told me that it was an amazing experience and that they were incredible people. Lay it on us, Meanie. How was it?
It was interesting because we've been planning this trip for a while, and it was going to be a bunch of us going up, and then we're going to do the podcast from there, and then we're going to do the signing and all that stuff. And of course, in August I had some personal things going on, and I couldn't make that trip, so we decided on to we rescheduled for September 11th, and and then unfortunately, with your tragedy, it's going to become just a Meanie trip. So, I planned it out, and Mrs. Meanie came up. She was the co-pilot and stuff like that. She's afraid of me driving me by myself, and so I fall asleep at the bar. What am I going to do behind the wheel at night? So, no, we go up there. It's a great drive. They're in Port Henry, New York, which when I mapped out, I thought I'll just drive through Pennsylvania. And it turns out it's actually quicker to go through Jersey, which blew my mind. So, drove through Jersey, got up there, and wasn't a bad drive. I mean, technically, it's like driving, like, if you're from, Philly, Pennsylvania area, it's kind of like driving from Philly slightly past Pittsburgh, but just going north. So it was like a 6-hour, 7-hour drive.
Oh,
and,
really?
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like 5 hours.
Well, you hit the Jersey traffic, and, I wasn't able to leave Philly till like 5. So I'm hitting
so you're,
I'm hitting a little bit of that shore traffic. I'm hitting a little bit of that New York traffic. Of course, there was a couple accidents. But once I got up there, I got on 87, which is like the road that takes you all the way up pretty much. And I was surprised. I was seeing signs for Montreal. I was like, oh. Yeah.
How far did I go?
Yeah, I know. Like Port Henry's like only an hour and a half from Montreal, which is crazy. It was just insane. But no, it was cool. It was a nice drive up. It was much more scenic coming back because the sun was out. But it felt like I was in the town where they filmed Newhart. It's kind of like
really? Okay.
where he had the little bed and breakfast inn kind of gimmick. So I had talked to Alana Gatter. Mm-hmm. I believe she is Mike's wife. I don't want to get the wrong brother in there. I don't want to cause heat. But she was like, here's all the information. If you're checking in late, give him a call. Let him know for the late check-in. I call. This is the day before I call. Hey, late check-in. Okay, here's what you got to do. Fine. We drive there. We go through the town. I get started a little bit nervous because, like, I'm a man, right? I go, I got enough gas to make this whole trip, right? So
I have no question that you had enough gas for that trip.
So I'm like getting there. I'm dipping below like a quarter tank, and I'm just driving. I'm like, eyes on the road, dipping, looking at the gas fuel tank. I'm just like, I probably should have stopped at a rest stop, but because once you get off that highway, there's like nothing, and everything seems like it's shut down super early. So we get to the inn where they had booked this really nice place. I'll save the name of the inn just because of the story I'm about to tell.
Okay.
But we get there, we park. We did everything they said to do, for the late check-in. We go in, look at our room key. Okay, we're in room 9 at this place. We go upstairs, turn. Oh, lo and behold, there's room 9. Door's kind of halfway open. Go, maybe it's like an inn. They leave the door open so you can go. Never mind, I have a fucking key in my hand. But,
right.
We go in there and I hear water running. Tracy hears water running and we're like, So I'm thinking maybe this is one of those inns where, like, we're in one room and there's another room, but we both share the same bathroom because I've been in one of those deals where, you guys share the bathroom with another room.
Horrible, but
right.
But
I'm like, okay. And Tracy goes, man, it fucking stinks in here. I'm like, oh, yeah, kind of pungent, right? So, you try to do the thing where you heavy walk and, like, make noise, like, to let somebody know that, like, walk. I'm turning on the TV now. All this that shit, right? And I'm like, fuck, this is going for like 20 minutes. And then all of a sudden you hear, fuck. I'm like, excuse me? And this is at the point, like, I was like, I'm just going to sit here on the bed, stare at the bathroom door, eat the rest of my Wawa hoagie that I forgot I had in the car. And let's let the games begin, because there's a couple times I was like, you hear, oh God, like, good Lord, man. What am I? Please be an adjoining bathroom. Please. I hope this person goes into another. Okay, so the water stops running. Door opens. A lady walks out in her towel and just stares at me and Tracy. And I'm like, hi. She goes, and she's looking at me like, what are you doing in my room? I'm like, I'm Brian. I pulled up the envelope. It says, Brian, room 9. I'm Brian. This is room 9. She goes, I'm in room 7. Yeah, I'm room 9. She goes, I'm so embarrassed. And walks out, like she's wrapped in a towel. She's got her bra in her hand. And I'm just like, oh my God. You know, and she leaves, go in the bathroom. The tub is full of vomit and just puke all over the fucking place. Just,
oh my God.
Like she had Chunky's beef stew that day. I was like, oh my God. Right. And that explains the smell smelled when we walked in. And she's like, bah. And I turn around, her fucking underwear still on the fucking floor. I'm just like, man.
If you had to put an age to this woman.
40s maybe.
Okay.
40s.
Just for the visual, just to kind of.
Yeah, for the blonde hair, tattoos on her feet or whatever. She had some random tattoos. It was just like pick a spot tattoos, Yeah. So it's just like, okay. So I look up the phone number for the place, call, no answer. Oh, there's an email. Well, I call Alana. I was like, hey, just so you know, there was somebody in our room, and our bathroom's covered. Well, thank God the tub. Well, no, I mean the tub's right next to the fucking toilet. I mean,
well, clearly this was a situation where she felt she needed to shower it off of herself.
Yes, or something like that. But I was like, holy shit. So I call Alana. She's like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. And she starts like calling the hotel. No answer. She calls me back. She's like, I'll see if there's another place available because that place had been booked, booked solid.
Yeah. I can tell why.
And then we both had the foresight to fucking email the place. I send the email. Hi, I'm Brian, room 9. Some lady from room 7 came in, puked in my bathroom. She was in here before we even got here. And then that got to the guy, and the guy comes up, knocks on the door, goes, what happened? Like the owner of the place, right? I guess he lives there or whatever. Thank God. And he's like, oh, you could have just rung the bell. I was like, I didn't know that. And he comes in, he looks around, thank God they had another room open.
Oh my
like
God.
A free, like a available room. He's like, I know that. I know the woman in room 7. I checked her in. She's a wedding planner for a wedding that's going to be in town. Oh, so I was like, well, I guess she's just getting heated up. She's getting warmed up, just fucking
pre-gaming.
So she's pre-gaming. So we go, thank God there was another room. I call Alana from Brothers Gather. I was like, look, crisis averted. They got another room and all that shit. But I was like, holy shit.
What room number did you go to? How far?
We went from, not far. We went from room 9 to room 10, something like that. So, which was like, the weird thing about it was like out of sync. Like, well, it was like further away. It wasn't like the next room over, which is weird. But I didn't give a shit.
Can we name this episode "The Lady from Room 7"?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So, oh my God, and it's not it's not the fault of the inn.
No.
Beautiful place. Beautiful place. If I had a chance to stay there again, I would.
All right. So I have. Well, I don't want to cut off your story.
No, go ahead.
I have questions, but I want to save my questions till the end. So,
oh no, it was just, we got in, we, per tradition before we go to bed, we take a shower, wash the day off us, lay in bed, and we just kind of like, hey, remember when that lady puked in our room? That just became the whole theme of the week. Like, hey, remember when we walked in on a lady taking a shower in our room? And he's like, I don't know why the room was open. Or how it's like, I don't know, maybe she was, drunk stumbling and walked out of her room and walked I don't know. How do you mistake seven for 9?
Right. So here's my few things. Number one, how did she end up in that? Like that's like the big, that's the big mystery. How did she end up in there? What was the scenario that led to her being in there? Yeah. The other, to me, why was the room unlocked? Like, is that, and you had mentioned before, maybe that's just they leave the room unlocked for whatever. But again, there's so many questions around that. Why was she sick? Was this a stomach bug situation? Was this a drinking too much situation? What?
She appeared to be hammered.
She also may have just been completely spent at that point. My next question is, how did this not turn into like a Family Guy situation? If I had walked in there, I would have just vomited all over her vomit, and then it would have been a horrible.
Hey, Josh, you want some Epicac?
Oh,
dude, like once she opened the door, it was like that fucking fog of fucking the smell just hit, and I went in there. I was like, Tracy's like, shut the fucking door. I was like, I gotta take a fucking piss. Look, I've taken a piss at Vet Stadium. I could take a piss in here right now. All right. So
pretty much probably look the same, smell the same for sure.
So I go in there, take a leak, and I just wait for an idea, and then thank God the guy said I was just about to take my dogs for a walk. My couple dogs for a walk. Thank God I saw your email.
Yeah.
Like for like calls at night, he just lets it go to voicemail. But the email he checks regularly, so he ran right upstairs and so he walked in like he's walking into a crime scene. Like what happened? And it's like
Anthony Camarada, Pod Squad member, says could have been worse. At least the smell wasn't crap. I gotta be honest with you, I disagree. I think this is worse. I think crap, you go, oh, it smells like shit. Oh, it's horrible. But you smell shit, it's not going to make you shit, right? You smell vomit, it'll make you throw up. Like, it's. I feel like these are, like, I'm nauseous just from hearing this story.
It'd be great if you smell vomit and made you shit.
And my one final thought on this is Slichter. I know you're on watching this. I don't even have a suggestion of what it looks like. I'm just thinking, lady, vomit, bed and breakfast, room 7.
It's uploading right now.
Yeah, do your magic. I'm surprised I don't already have a message from him.
Oh my God! But I'm thinking this could have been far worse. You know. Thank God I had a woman with me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because then who knows who's accusing who of what at this point.
So. Like, oh my God, this is like the worst thing. I'm sitting there like eating. She comes out, got a roast beef hoagie. I'm just like, hi, I'm Brian. This is room 9, and or that could be the name. Hi, I'm Brian. This is room 9. I did everything. Here's my envelope with my name, and here's my instructions. You're in the wrong room.
Oh, and I thought. That this was going to be a situation like where they had double booked the room. Like I remember one of the Starcasts, they were supposed to know that I was showing up on, we'll say like a Thursday night, but they thought I was showing up Friday. So they booked the room. And so luckily I ended up just mentioning to them I gave them my name and they're like, oh, it's not, or they said to me, your person you're sharing the room with is already checked in. And I'm like, no, he's in the car right now. And they're like, no, he's. So thank God they said they had already checked in, because had they kept that information, we would have been at like 1, or it was like 11:30 at night or something. We would have been just sticking the key in and walking right into somebody who was probably sound asleep in there. And that would have been horrible. That's where I thought you were headed with like someone was already. This took a turn that, I mean, obviously I don't think any of us were expecting, least of all you. Good God, man.
Just, thank God, It could have been worse, just imagine if like I hadn't hit traffic, maybe we could have avoided all this. Or imagine me being in bed and somebody just stumbles into the room. Well, I would have had the door locked.
Right.
Or it could have been worse. Well,
imagine a scenario where the timing had worked itself to you and Tracy get into the room. You put your bags down on the bed or whatever. You're just about to get situated. The door hasn't even closed behind you, and this woman comes running in.
Yeah.
Vomiting on herself, running into your bathroom. Like that, there could have been a worse situation. A worse situation would have been a lack of maybe you were a little stuffy from sinuses, so you didn't smell it. So you go right in, you say, all right, man, do I have to take a shit. I'm running right into that bathroom, and you barge in, and she's vomiting in the tub. And then it's at that point, though, what do?
I didn't even
probably
bother to
take
check
a shit, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's no stopping. I mean, once you pop, you can't stop.
Yeah. That's the law of Pringles.
Or say, say there, she was taking a bath.
Mm-hmm.
I walk in, not knowing. I just open the door and, hello,
Yeah.
But how do you just like stumble out of your room into another room? How was she know that the room was unlocked, or was the door open? Or was she like, I don't want to ruin my room. Let me go ruin this perfectly good room over here.
Yeah. And then again, why was she vomiting? What was the...
Yeah.
I mean, look, there's no HIPAA law against finding out the name of somebody that stayed in a room. I would love to find this person and get her on the show next week. That to me would be just to find the whole... We don't have to say her name on air. We can, But I
should email the guy to be like, hey, was there any fallout? Or no pun intended, from the woman
how
from
did
room
this
7.
end?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, but imagine being that person, and for the rest of your life, you have this memory of being in somebody else's room. You're walking out and seeing a total stranger and realizing you were in the wrong room.
Now,
and Tracy was like, man, I wish I would have just walked up to the door, did the cop knock, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Just to... because we waited for like a good 20 minutes, just like.
See, I wouldn't have been able, especially that smell. I would have been right out of the room going, "Hey, I don't know what's happening here?" But so there's there was no one at the front desk. Is that or there was someone at the front desk?
Well, like it's like a bed and breakfast inn. It's not like a typical hotel.
Right.
They things shut down after a certain time. That's why if you got a late check in, they make arrangements for you to get in. Like. If you're arriving after 8, so we arrived at 11:30.
So
by the time we left.
So this is a late night situation. This is
it was creepy. 11:30, 12 o'clock, in a town that could have been out of any like small town movie. It felt like it was a quaint little town. Like the next morning we woke up and we look out and there's like. You can see Vermont across the Lake Champlain. It's like, oh man, it's a beautiful place, but
yeah,
that could have been a crime.
A beautiful place, but also a place where people just quietly disappear and are never heard from again.
Yeah, the monster in the lake,
And we find out what the Meanie dolls are stuffed with. It's just genuine ground up Blue Meanie.
Yeah, man.
Man, or vomit. I don't know.
Yeah.
But go now and buy them at brotherscatter.com.
The next morning we woke up and, still joking about it and check out. We make our way over to, this is like where we're staying was outside of Port Henry.
Okay.
So we drove over to Port Henry and, met up at the Brothers Gather studio where, Matt, Mike, and Justin and Alana greeted us, and I have to say, what an awesome spot they have there in Port Henry. It's a retail store, but it's also an art studio. So, and they have a lot of like creative art on the wall. They have the wrestling buddies. They, have a thing with the show where you can get, do custom buddies as a gift, all this stuff. But the brothers and Alana could not have been cooler.
They had
such a great
drawing of you out front too.
As I'm walking in, I believe it was Mike was painting that. He had the paint brush in his hand, and he was just finishing painting it.
Unbelievable.
I was like, how cool is this? Like, I'm a big fan of the arts. Mm-hmm. I love creative people. You know, if you can just look at something and make something out of nothing, that's awesome. I'm a big fan of that. That's why I love Bob Ross. I love all this, you know, this old house. You know, if you're creating something, I love to watch. So I walk in and they're painting, and it just smells like an art studio, which is awesome. It smells better than the room, put it that way. And Alana comes up. She's like, I think I want to give you a hug for what happened last night. She gave me a big hug, and you know, they apologized, and we just hit it right off the bat. Awesome. You know, and I got the tour. You know, they showed me some, you know, a bunch of the buddies they made, some of the buddies they made for themselves, so to speak, that they probably can't sell, but and they have like a really cool display. You know, there's like the store, and then there's like a second level like display area where it's like you know, bunch of stuffed animals, and I can't think of the word. You know, like a scene from something. You know, it's stuff like diorama or whatever it's called. And such a cool place. You know, and I got there fairly early. They're like, you know, because originally we were going to do the podcast. We were thinking from like 8:30 to whenever to do the podcast, do lunch, and then do the signing. But they're like, hey, if you're not doing the podcast, come in, you know, around 11. We'll do lunch. I said, you had me at lunch. Yep. So the cool thing is we got there, and you know, we hung out. We just stood around for a couple hours just talking. And then they got these things called, it was called a Michigan lunch or whatever. It's like these hot dogs with a special sauce that the Gadders brothers' mothers made. So that's a tongue twister. The Gadders brothers' mothers had made.
Gadders brothers'
which was
mothers.
Like, which was really nice. They have like a little picnic area right next to like a little park, small park, like a plot of land or whatever. There are a couple benches. They have a arm wrestling table. Just a random arm wrestling
why not,
table.
right?
Yeah, they're brothers, right?
Yep.
I challenge you. And then we had the lunch. It was really nice, you know, and you know, some sodas, some coffees, you know. So they really, really took care of me. Really good people. And you know, if you're an aspiring wrestler and you need some custom buddies, man, they're looking for wrestlers to license, you know.
Really?
And you know, yeah, they're looking for some guys. You know, they did one for me. They did one for Raven. They had
Dreamer,
Bruiser
too,
Brody.
right?
Dreamer, Bruiser Brody. I took one with the British Bulldog, and I posted on Instagram and tagged Georgia, and she runs the British Bulldog, Dave Boy Smith Instagram, all the accounts. So I got a like from that, which is cool. And there was a couple other really cool things to happen, but it's up there. It's a little bit of a hike, but once you go there, you kind of don't want to leave. You know, it's like
it sounds
really
like a beautiful place, vomit aside.
Yeah, oh yeah, and puke aside. And I feel so bad. There was a guy there, wrestling guy. I'm just going to kill me. I can't think of his name, but he was asking for you, and he kept calling you Shernoff. I was like, right. I was like,
wrestling guy, like
he's a wrestler. He's from Tennessee. He moved up there. Takes amazing photographs, videos. He had made a video montage that they played in the store.
Oh yeah.
He does graphic arts. He did a couple 8x10s that they had for me to sign and stuff like that.
Oh, very cool.
And it's killing me. I can't think of his name right now, but big dude, great guy. Big dude.
Yeah.
Great guy. It'll come. Of course, it'll come to me once we stop recording. But
but no, that's fine. I did and I'm sure everybody that showed up were just tears disappointed that I wasn't there. But hopefully,
I think they were I think they were disappointed I showed up.
Yeah, right. They all come in. They're like, we were here for Shernoff. Who's this blue guy? What is?
Yeah, get the.
Yeah, I'm sure that's how
Beat
it worked.
Beat it, fatty.
But hopefully they were all understanding.
No, dude, it was a really good atmosphere. I'd love to go back up.
Yeah,
you know, maybe like I don't want to wear out my welcome.
Yeah, but
I'll eat that Michigan lunch all day.
Oh, man.
So
I hope to eventually at some point make it back up there or make it up there. And I do know if you're listening to this and you are one of the people who did pay for you bought one of my buddies and wanted them signed. I've already spoken with Alana. She, first of all, gave me your information. I haven't yet, but I'm going to be making a phone call to you to thank you to try and make up for the lack of meet and greet. And then she also is sending me, apparently, she's going to send me the front of the buddy of just the fabric for me to sign. And then I can send it back, and then they can stuff it and sew it and everything. So you're not going to get to meet me in person, which honestly, not that big of a deal. But you will still get your signed buddies, and I'll give you all a call, and we'll get to chat for a few to kind of make up for that, because I feel really bad that I wasn't able to. It's
totally understandable.
Yeah, I know, and everybody, everyone understood, and I appreciate that. But I still, I made a commitment, and if somebody is crazy enough to want to spend money on meeting me and having me sign something, I feel like the least I can do is try and make good on that. So
it was a really great
awesome.
It was a great turnout. Great turnout. Again, that's hence why I would love to go back.
Yeah,
and maybe go out there a day early. And just hang.
Just enjoy the place.
Their shop is like, if it was here in Philly, I'd just go over just to hang out.
That's awesome.
But I'd love to go back up there, hang out, do stuff. They said they would maybe do like an autograph show or something like that. Well, hopefully I'm not saying anything out of school, but it's definitely a really nice place worth going back to. So and the way they treated us. We felt, they treated us good as gold, and great people around. So go to brothersgather.com, get the Mine of DeMeanie wrestling buddies, but also support artists.
Yeah.
Support some artists.
Oh, absolutely. I'm glad that worked out. I'm glad that it was a really positive experience. One part of it aside, I guess. But hey, you got a great story out of it. We covered we covered 40 minutes of a podcast because that's I didn't even want to let you. I didn't even want to smarten you up. I appreciate it. I appreciate it because this was perfect. This is why you have a podcast. So when things like that happen, you're able to do something with it. You're able to,
Yeah.
That's what an amazing story. And it's something you're going to be talking about forever.
Oh my God.
Because that doesn't happen all the time. No. Man, how cool.
Well, at the Travel Lodge, maybe.
That was the
90s, Yeah.
Oh, man. So what else is going on, man? What else?
How was your weekend? I mean, you were with the top guys weekends.
Well, let's talk. Yeah, if I may, let's talk about that for a minute. So
please.
Chicago was a blast. It was an awesome time to get together. I thought you were going to hit that. Oh, jeez. That's not the
Delayed.
one I thought.
I thought that was going to be the Kmart fart, but that's
what I thought you were going for too. But all right, hey,
what are my test
runs?
Those are
a blast.
I got to trim that one up.
It's a little delay.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I saw you reach for a button, and I'm like, it's going to be the Kmart one. Nope. That was great. All right. So anyway, no, we had an awesome time. Thank you to Conrad and company.
Great people
for having
around.
me there. Yeah, so much fun. It shouldn't. I mean, to sit there with Conrad and Dave Silva, Casio Kid, the rest of that crew there, the fact that I wasn't just in tears of laughter the entire time is fascinating.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. They're just such a great group. And the Top Guy weekend that they put on, I mean, you don't, a part of my job was to get testimonials for people. Easiest job I've ever had, because people were falling all over themselves to talk about how great it was. And that's such a good, shout out to Evan for really running a lot of it. Evan over at AdFreeShows. He really was the what Conrad was to StarCast. Like, he really oversaw and organized so much of this. And people just kept saying that it exceeded their expectations. And I think that, that's what you want. I mean, there were surprises there. Jerry the King Lawler to be there doing to be a surprise guest on the live Jim Ross show. Like, that was so cool. I got the opportunity to interview the two of them for social media. I had met both individually. I'd never had the opportunity to interview Jim Ross before. I had interviewed Jerry Lawler, but to be able to stand in the middle of JR and the King, that was so cool. That was, you always have there this from being in the business for decades now, meeting anyone and everyone that there is, but there's still that like mark out moment when it's the person from your childhood. The person from, for me, I guess my teenage years, I'm not that, not that old, but not that young. But that was really cool. Got to meet Paul White for the first time ever. I'd never met him before. Turns out he's big. He's a large guy.
That's no BS either. That's no BS.
No, he's that was really cool, and to be able to just all the surprises, Sting, and then Calvin Tan took over. There it is. That man took over one night. So after the show was over, they had a karaoke thing. Rebel did karaoke, and brought with her a bunch of AEW talent. Well,
awesome.
One thing led to another. So this was right after Rampage. So all of a sudden, the whole AEW locker room pretty much just shows up in the green room, straight up took over that green room to the point where I'm looking, all right, there's some swag here that I was being polite and not taking, but I really need to go grab this right now or it's going to be gone. But they came in and had themselves some food, some drink, and had a good time. And then someone who knew Calvin did magic mentioned it, and Austin Gunn was all over that. He's like, let me see. Awesome. I want to see magic. And pretty much picture Austin Gunn during the pandemic period when he was front row at AEW all the time.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what you had sitting there as Calvin did magic. He was just a child, just so happy and filled with wonder with every trick.
That's great.
The problem was every time Calvin would do a trick, he would react so big that someone else would be like, what happened? What happened? And then the next thing you know, that person's watching, that person. Then you've got the Blade saying, hey, can you do this for the bunny? And, and then so she's going crazy. So then some of the other girls are hearing, oh, one of our own is screaming, everything okay? Comes over, and now it's freaking 3:00 in the morning, and Calvin went from, he has done his trick so many times. I thought that at some point, I thought Conrad was just going to grab him and throw him out of there just so we could go to bed. And I'm sitting there at one point, and I'm just trying to drop some hints. I'm sitting over at the table with Conrad and the rest of the crew, and Calvin's behind me at the table with all the AEW guys. And I'm just trying. I'm just like, man, got to be down here at 8:00 tomorrow. That's going to be not a lot of sleep that we're going to have, just trying to let
ease them in.
And Calvin, meanwhile, kept going all right, well, here, I'll do one more. But then it's what are you going to do? Because then Tony Khan walks in, right? So what are you going to do? Be like, oh, sorry, Mr. Khan, I'm done. No, Tony Khan's in the room now. That man is, Conrad was joking that you're going to be seeing Double or Nothing, and the opening for Double or Nothing in Vegas is going to be Calvin doing magic tricks in the opening video montage. Calvin's there getting himself a job with AEW as a magician.
That's awesome. I hope so.
But it was an experience. But I will say, this is not a joke. Legitimately, one of the best experiences I had was getting to meet everybody, all of the top guys there, and getting to meet James Sorenson in person.
Yeah.
So we had such. That's pretty much how I felt. Even though it was James' birthday, and I said, you know what? I'm going to give you one of these new Fight TV Josh Shernoff action figures available now
That's
at
quite handsome.
SoShernoff.com. I said, you know what, man? It's your birthday. Here's an action, because he wanted to buy one from me. I said, no. Here's your action figure for free, and I'm going to sign it to you, whatever you want. Wrote him a nice little happy birthday, whatever. Comes to me like a day later. Hey, so I put the figure in my bag, and I lost my bag. So I was like, well, I don't have any. Sorry, man. I don't have any, whatever. Calvin was nice enough because I'd brought Calvin a figure. So the last night, Calvin goes to me, he goes, you know what? He's like, I was thinking about it. He's like, just give him my figure. I'll grab another one. So thankfully, I was able to give James another figure. So in essence, James Sorenson got 2 free signed happy birthday figures. There is
one for this year and next year.
There's a top guy somewhere else that has a happy birthday James Sorenson signed figure, and James has one. But I got to meet James. Got to just spend some real good quality time with him, and a fun story. Since I know James is on here watching us live, so I have a couple fun James Sorenson stories if you'd like to hear, Meanie.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. So the first one. The first one was we had fun. We took some pictures with the belts. We had a good time. But he comes up to me with a box of peach ugly. He asked me like which flavor I like the best. I said I like peach, and then he comes back with a legit, the box of like however many, like 10 of them in there or whatever it is, 8, something like that. And hands it to me. I'm like, oh, man, that's awesome. Thank you. That's really cool. And he's like, and then all of a sudden he takes out one for himself. He has one. He's like, oh, he's like, you want to, let's drink to this occasion. I'm like, absolutely, man. So I go to open up the container, but no, James Sorenson has now presented, he's produced an additional can. So now he gives me another can. So he has a can, another can, and I'm holding the box and I'm Sandmanning it, opening up the can. Yeah. And we're drinking. We're good to go. We have a nice little bit of that. Calvin Tan walks over, and I'm like, oh, Calvin's like, oh man, I've always wanted to. I haven't tried ugly yet. I've been wanting to try it just from hearing on the show. So I go to open up the thing. All of a sudden, James Sorenson produces another can from where I don't know.
He's the magic man.
Yes, another can. This one is ice cold, which creates there are so many questions here. If one of them was cold, why were the 2 that he and I shared together not cold?
Right.
Where was this cold one? And like, where on your person were you able to store something that remained ice cold? And what made you think to yourself, I've got to make sure I got a cold one on deck in case someone else shows up? So that was great, to the point where, because I didn't want anything to go to waste. I wasn't in the room, I was working the whole weekend. I wasn't in the room very much, but I did have the box in my hotel room in the fridge there. So to the point where when I got to the airport in Chicago to leave, I still had 2 more. And Calvin was like, no, I'm good. I just drank a whole thing of coffee. I'm all that, about to get on the plane. I opened both of them and just double fisted peach ugly, which was definitely, talk about a seltzer kiss, man. That was quite the plane ride. But
do the Arn Anderson burp and blow on the plane.
Oh, absolutely. That's yep. The what? What did you say? And then just right in their face. But the big, so that was one fun thing. But the big James Sorenson story here. So we were working AEW, and so Calvin and I were down for a fight doing, on the floor and around the arena doing the social media stuff. And so I spotted James Sorenson. He had told me where he was going to be, but I spotted him with his giant AdFreeShows sign. So I made sure to make it up there to the stands to get James on the social media post. So if you go to @SoSaysShernoff and scroll through, you will see one of the videos of me and James. I want to say it was like right as the buy-in was starting, the pre-show was starting. So I wanted to kind of give that as a thank you to James for how supportive he's been to us, in mind of the Meanie and to me. Get him a little camera time. So I saw James, and later on near the end of the show, we crossed paths as he's leaving. I'm like, hey man, maybe I'll see you back at the hotel, maybe not, but great to see you, everything. Because I had to head backstage to the after they had like a press thing, which didn't really apply to me because that's not really what I was there to do, was to get like interviews. So instead, I decided to be a big shot, and I hung out in the hallway and just hung out with the people before they were going in for their interviews, and just saying hello to some friends, meeting some new people like Ruby Soho. I'd never met before. Nicest person you'd ever want to meet. Adam Cole. Awesome. Adam Cole, baby. Had never met him before. Awesome guy. And then saw some people that I had known, that I hadn't seen in a year and a half, so it was really cool. But then we're like, all right, let's rock and roll out of here. Call our Uber, because we'd been Ubering back and forth. And Uber had not let us down. We even went, because I did the Fight and Focus live pre-show for GCW, for their show. So I went from AdFreeShows in Schaumburg, Illinois, to wherever GCW was, to we did the Fight and Focus. Then I had to go back, interview Big Show and Sting for AdFreeShows, then go back to do the post-show stuff with Matt Cardona for GCW. Yeah. So Uber was our friend this entire time. Turns out, though, when you're at an arena and there's 10,000 people or whatever, Uber gets busy. So we could not get an Uber driver. We tried other apps, other things. I even called a limo service. That's how desperate we were. And then I finally said, well, I don't know what the hell to do, man. We're just stranded here. Like, it's late at night. Nobody's doing whatever. So I slid on into the DMs of one James Sorenson and said, don't feel obligated. You don't have to. However, we're stranded here. If you happen to be up, because James drove there. He had his own car.
That's great.
So James Sorenson, knight in shining armor, that man drove back the 15 minutes back, apparently with another top guy with him who had lost his wallet. So James grabs that guy from the hotel. James I don't think he's even at the hotel when I message him. He's meanwhile out searching for this guy's wallet, which he found. Jeez. Found the guy's wallet, then came by, picked us up, drove us back to the hotel, where we enjoyed another ugly together, and
ice cold.
And then like the gentleman that he is, he walked us to our room. But
he threw up in your bathtub.
Threw up all over our bathtub. Horrible. It was disgusting. We said, James, this is not room 7. But my highlight of the weekend, I will say, my highlight of the weekend was before we went back in, when James, when we got out of the car, and James had me sign his BWO shirt that had been signed by Kurt Angle, because apparently if you want to really, really, really drop the value of a signed BWO shirt signed by Kurt Angle, add my signature to it. He had me sign, and then James asked me to sign the Pod Squad jacket and everything. So we're doing some of that in the parking lot. We then spent about 45 minutes, me, James, and Calvin, just hanging in the parking lot of the hotel, just talking. Not about wrestling, just talking about life. Learned a lot about James. And I have to say to everybody, you know, we've always, we've talked. James is our Sorenson level. He is so supportive. You know, I mentioned to Eric Bischoff the night before we were all hanging out at the bar when everybody got there.
Yeah.
And I said to Eric, I said, you know, I'm actually going to meet one of our top supporter for the Mind of the Meanie podcast, James Sorenson. I know you guys have hung out and everything like that. And Bischoff said to me, he said, give him your time. He is such a good guy. You will be glad that you took the time.
That's awesome.
I gave him the time, and James, I want to thank you because the highlight of my time there was getting to know you, getting to hear your story, just getting to just spend some time and just hang out like friends. Thank you for saving us, at the Now Arena. And you're a good dude. And thank you. That was absolutely the highlight of my time, was getting to hang out with James. So, wanted to throw it in there.
During that course of that weekend, I got a video in my DMs from James Sorenson from David Crockett saying, "How come you're not in Chicago?"
Yes.
He's like, "Hey man, why ain't you here? Why ain't you in Chicago?" And David Crockett goes to Sorenson, "Where's he from?" He goes, "Philadelphia." He goes, "It's a straight shot." So I got that in my inbox. I was like, dude, that's so cool. It was so cool to be thought of that he has David Crockett, of all people, legendary David Crockett.
Yes.
Send me a video.
Who, if you ever have an opportunity to spend any time with David Crockett, there is a video of him, a video on social media for AdFreeShows where I assume they posted it. Maybe they didn't, but I've got the screenshot of it, of that man. There's no other way to describe it other than feeding me a wooden dildo statue while I was trying to conduct an interview with him. So, not the experience that I expected with David Crockett. And for you Patreon members, I'm going to bring up
there's a woodpecker joke in there somewhere.
What's that?
There's a woodpecker joke in there somewhere.
Oh man, it was. So this was. If you guys are familiar with Heffron over at AdFreeShows, another great guy, really, really nice guy. He does the WrestleGamia, and he presented these two penis statues to Tony Schiavone. One was a rainbow-colored giant one, and then there was a smaller one because he was something like he was such a dick he needed more. So. But here,
Tony Two Cocks.
For those of you who can see this, this is the screenshot of the legendary David Crockett.
There's not enough time. We got to go, Tony.
We gotta go. There it is. He's got a mule in his hand and a gimmick in the other one. So that is me trying to do my job. When someone said, "Could you grab an interview with David Crockett?" Absolutely not how I expected it to end, but it was great. But also with James, I think it's an important thing to mention too. I show up there, it's AdFreeShows. That man could have been wearing, and because we know he's got AdFreeShows attire.
Yeah.
We show up, that guy is wearing a Sorenson Blue Level t-shirt and a Pod Squad jacket at AdFreeShows. That man was representing Mind of the Meanie, and we appreciate that. James, he asked if he can have a job as my chauffeur. Sure. Yeah, man. Anytime. Yeah, it was awesome. It was really cool. So that was
we've had quite an eventful time.
Yeah, there's been some. It's been an eclectic couple of weeks here. But I do want to say again, a thanks to Adam Bernard, who. The reason we are not doing a triple threat here today, one, I wanted you all to myself, Meanie. But two, Adam is he and his family are moving back to the Philadelphia area. which is cool. And and he even said, he's like, if something comes up and you need me to jump in, I was like, dude, just move. Trust me, that's tough. It's a tough situation. Just move your home, focus on that, and then we'll see you next week.
Let's see how much you really want it.
Yeah. But yeah, you guys have been doing an awesome job, and I appreciate that. And as I'm getting busier and busier, the beauty of this is, and I'm so glad that that everybody enjoys him and enjoys the rapport that you guys have, and most of all that you enjoy him, because it creates a scenario where no matter how busy I am, I don't see a scenario where I ever have to be like, Meanie, I got to leave the show. Like, I don't, because we've got Adam here, and I can, disappear and always know that I can come home again, which is nice. But
and again, I don't want to deprive you of opportunities.
Which
you got to do what you got to do.
I appreciate.
Well, I mean, this is what you were doing before. This is what you were doing before the pod. Doing all this.
And I think that was something that was an easy. We talked about this before. I know off air and even on air a little bit. Like, we started this podcast during a pandemic, during a lockdown. We didn't intend to do it during a lockdown. We always expected that this was going to be something we would do. I don't think either of us ever expected it was going to grow to this community the way that it did. But we did it at a time where we had nothing to do. We weren't traveling. We weren't doing any shoot stuff. We weren't, and so like you said, this is the stuff, I popped into your mind because we did an interview at MLW where I was there for Fight doing interviews. So that was my job before. And now that we're back in the real world, and plus the fact that they've made me a producer now, and like all these things that I'm doing with them, I'm busier, but it's also something that we always kind of expected was eventually going to happen. So I'm just glad that that when I'm not able to make it, that we have Adam there. And I also think it's fun too. This was kind of cool because after, 70 something weeks, it was nice. We almost had like a little break where it was nice to be like, all right, Meanie, so what's been up? As opposed to like, what it had been where I felt like almost like you and I knew everything that was going on in each other's lives to the point where we said, hit record and it's like, well, what's going on? Well, I guess we'll just tell that story that we already know what's happening. And, so this has been fun.
That's why I kind of held the one story
I'm glad
in my back pocket. And, like you said, we're doing like, during the lockdown, we're talking almost every day, and we're doing like 4-hour shows. What the fuck? But now, you back in the real world, you're doing stuff with Fight. I got stuff going on my own deal here. Yep. And I'm glad we still have opportunities to do this.
Yes.
And I'm glad we have the support of the Pod Squad, and
Pod Squad's been awesome.
And very forgiving.
Yes. Yes.
Especially, okay, we're going to do this one at night. Okay, we're doing this one in the morning. Or whatever,
And, and still here we are. Just they kind of just follow our schedule, which is so cool and so appreciated. Man, it's, we've been very lucky to have everybody here. And I know that there's stories that we need to catch up on at some point off air, like, your trip to Alaska, which I know you've talked about on the show, but, you and I at some point will catch up on all of these things. But, man, it's been a wild ride. It's getting even wilder. I just got an email before we went on the air from AEW with the information of, I didn't even know this was going to, last I had heard was, well, it's not a pay-per-view. I know it's a big deal, but we're not going to do anything at the Arthur Ashe Stadium. Turns out I'm going to be there on Wednesday, which is
nice.
I am very excited about, because what an incredible atmosphere that's going to be. I have never done anything for a stadium, never worked a stadium before. So that's going to be kind of cool. But there's that. And I'm going to be at some future GCW shows in New York and in New Jersey. And so things are things are busy and a lot of other stuff in the workings with through my relationship with Fight, which I'm very very excited to tell everybody about once I know what it is that's actually happening. But yes, I've been lucky, and I appreciate Meanie, all the support and all the support from the Pod Squad too, and
absolutely.
And hey, I want to say, I've gotten a lot of support with my new figure available right now at SoSaysShernoff.com for Fight. You earn your Fight points. And a great shout out from Matt Cardona this week on Major Wrestling for Your Podcast. I really appreciate it, as his two co-hosts, Mark Sterling and Brian Myers, gave him all kinds of shit for the fact that he said he was going to have to throw out my Mind of the Meanie figure, which he told me in person, goes, I think I'm going to have to introduce it to my friend Duke, the dumpster. He's like, I can't have two of your figures. I can't, because he really needed this new one. So everybody else is just like, what do you, they're like, Mark's like, send it to me. Brian's like, why don't you just give it away on the show? Why are you throwing it out? And this is apparently what he does. But he is but he hasn't pulled the trigger yet. So I am proud to say that man has two Josh Shernoff action figures, which is fantastic. Hold on, I'm getting as we say, if I can find this. Oh, where is it? Oh man, I can't find. There we go. Breaking news. Breaking news. Andy Slichter has sent. Jesus. There it is. He has sent this is for our Patreon members to see. Can you see it? There it is. Tremendous.
Amazing.
And
he works quickly.
Yes, he does. And with that, I think we should get. Oh, hey, Shackleford's going to be at Arthur Ashe Stadium.
Nice.
Find me. Come say hello. I won't recognize you because you'll have a body. And that was a weird thing this weekend too, man. I don't know if you met anybody that you've interacted with, like only online when you were doing like the signing and stuff, or any of the signings you've been doing. But that is weird, man. There are a lot of people I met from who used to be on the That Was Extreme chats and the Zoom calls. And it was just like, I'm like looking at them. I'm like, you kind of look familiar, but I'm not used to you being like real and attached to a body. That happens to me
all the time.
It's so weird, but
seeing people out of their element.
Yes. I do want to say before we get started here, I think it's a good thing for us to jump into a little Ask Meanie. But before we do that, we have to talk about our sponsors. And I was a little jealous that I didn't get to read this the first time, but I purposely did not read it or listen to the part where Adam read this because I want to talk all about autumn. Because autumn is in the air, the pumpkins are in the patch, and our friends at Manscaped are here to make sure you don't carve your pants pumpkins when you're grooming. If you know what I'm saying, make sure you're keeping things fresh this fall with the leaders in male grooming and their brand new 4th generation performance package. Boys, get ready for a cuffing season like no other. Ready to take the leap into fall with Manscaped? Join the 2 million men worldwide using Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with the code MEANIE20. It's time to bundle up with the Manscaped Performance Package 4.0. Inside this package, you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver, Ball Deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance Boxer Briefs, and travel bag to hold your goodies. First off, the new Performance Package 4.0 includes the new Lawnmower 4.0. If you're looking to cozy up this fall, this trimmer is essential. The 4th generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. It also gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. Plus, it's waterproof. The Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker to chop your worst weeds Up top, in your nose and ears, the nose and ear hair trimmer uses a 9,000 RPM motor-powered 360-degree rotary dual-blade system to provide proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate holes. Seal the deal with Manscaped's liquid formulations, the crop preserver ball deodorant. Everyone knows pumpkin spice lattes and ball deodorant go hand in hand. Then, after trimming the pumpkin patch and whacking the leaves, give your balls a boost and use Crop Reviver. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts to the Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers, and the Shed Travel Bag. Get comfy on the home and on the go this season. Get 20% off plus free shipping with code Meanie20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off free shipping with code Meanie20 at manscaped.com. Make your balls a priority this fall. Choose Manscaped. Your balls will thank you, and so do we. But Meanie,
absolutely.
At this point in time, would you like to ask Meanie anything?
I would love to. It's time to ask Meanie anything. Ask me something.
All right. We definitely need to
I'm
update
going to
that.
crack up a seltzer here real quick.
Do it. I don't have a seltzer. You know what I do have? There you go.
What's that?
I have this.
Jesus.
This is supposed to have me drinking throughout the day. Good morning. You've got it. Remember your goal. That's it. Keep drinking. No excuses. A little bit more. Well done. Well, what time is it as we're recording this? It is just about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I should be somewhere right around here, and you can kind of see where I am. So I am not drinking nearly enough water. So I'll have to down this when we're finished.
Yes.
Anyway, let's ask Meanie some questions here. Andy Slichter, you knocked it out of the park with this logo. That's going to be a T-shirt. Throw that in the Dropbox if you would, my friend. Okay. Where are we here? Okay, let's see. Ask Meanie. We're going to start with our good friend Ringside Rant. Hashtag Ask Meanie. What are your thoughts on the show Heels on Stars?
I love it. It's really good. It's about a family-owned wrestling company in Georgia, and it's kind of like when you think of a show, like The Walking Dead. People are like, oh, it's about zombies. No, it's not about zombies. It's about people who are living in this atmosphere. Like people are like, oh, this is a wrestling show. It's about people who happen to be wrestlers in the world of wrestling and just the stuff that happens in real life. And it's really good. I really like it a lot. I watch it. Every time I watch it, I think of my time. It reminds me of the time I lived at Al's school in Lima, small town. We had our own school. We had our own building. We did shows. We did events and all that stuff. And I really like it. I haven't watched the latest episode. I will be doing that soon. I usually catch most shows late. So, but great shout out to the folks who write and produce Heels. Shout out to my boy Luke Hawks, who is the trainer and coordinator.
Very cool.
On Heels. He's doing an amazing job. And I think his son PJ is the referee on the show. And,
cool.
I just did the trip with them on Alaska, and they're giving me some stories from the show, behind the scenes as well. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, man, Heels is great. If you get a chance to check it out,
I have not seen it, but I really want to, and it's not going to be tough to twist my wife's arm to do it because she was a huge Arrow fan.
Yeah.
So I think that's in the. It's in the old queue. We actually just got caught up on the Blacklist. I was like 2 seasons behind on it and just randomly was like, let's start watching it. And, man, do you ever watch the Blacklist?
I want to, but I haven't.
It's so good. My brother started binge watching it as well, and he's like, I think they just finished season 8. My brother's at like season 4. I'm like, oh, dude, things get crazy, but I will say James Spader's character on there is just he's phenomenal. He's really, really enjoyable. I have a couple questions here. Okay, Shackleford, also known as A-Bales8, writes, Meanie, do you ever tailgate at the Eagles games?
I have. I haven't recently because of COVID, but the last one I did was the Eagles Patriots here in Philly.
Okay.
Went and hung out there, and then I went over to Donnie and Bev's and watched the rest of the game. But I've been to more away games than home games, which is odd. I guess because I don't know. It's like a mixture of two things I like: travel and football. So, but yeah, I have. I need to get down there and tailgate with my boys from the Fourth and John podcast.
Ah, yes.
Great guys. I pop in their chat streams here and there and talk football. And I'm supposed to be ramping up my podcast with Giovanni Hamilton talking Philadelphia Eagles stuff too.
Time to get back into that, man.
Yeah,
Eagles,
yeah. They had a nice win this weekend, so hopefully, and it's just week one. I'm just
saying they're undefeated this season.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying. I can't. Whatever.
I would like to congratulate the Dallas Cowboys on having the first loss of September.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
But
Nova. Man, how'd you deal with you didn't sit next to him on the flight, right?
He wasn't on my flight.
Right. Yeah, Nova. Sit there, talk about how great Dallas is gonna be. No, I've met Nova like twice. Love the guy. Have not. Just for any new listeners who are tuning in, who are like, who is this new Josh Shernoff guy, and where is Adam Bernard? By the way, we are going to have an Adam Bernard guy shirt coming soon to Pro Wrestling Tees. We have that great Andy Slichter made this amazing Eat the Shoe, inspired by the new CM Punk shirt. We're waiting to see whether or not that parody is rejected by Pro Wrestling Tees or not. But it is available right now. If you join at whatever tier you join, if you become a Patreon member, patreon.com/mindofthemeanie, you will be able to go get that nice black ringer white t-shirt. It looks amazing. Slichter did an incredible job. And yeah, just want to touch base on that for a second. I know I haven't been here and it's been a little while, but Adam Bernard, my friend, a deal is a deal. You will be eating a shoe. We are working on I feel like CM Punk and I are not going to be hanging out too much on Wednesday, but if I do see him, I will be sure to let him know what's going on.
Yes.
Because I think it would be a really cool thing to kind of do something for charity, what he's talking about. How he's going to eat a shoe, I haven't really figured out, but that's not for us to figure out, Meanie.
Not my fucking concern.
Yeah. Oh, when we were on the show before, me and when it was the three of us, I made a comment about how I had less Twitter followers than Adam. I am proud to say that's not true, and I apparently have a good amount more. However, I would still like to reach the milestone and before Adam does. So
okay.
let's get to work on that.
Yes.
Did you guys do, Mark and Dryden had questions. Did you do these? I don't listen to the product. Did you guys do these last week about the conspiracy theories
yes.
of the Montreal Screwjob? You did. Okay.
Yes.
Well, he did ask, following the Montreal Screwjob, what did you and Josh think the WWF's future was? He thought it was bleak and WCW had them by the balls. So you covered that one as well?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. Oh, well, what I will say is I actually did not think it was bleak at all. I thought it was starting to fire on all cylinders before the Screwjob, and then after the Screwjob, I thought WCW was going to be huge with Bret Hart going over there, and I expected a continuation of him feuding with like Hall and Nash and like continue and then doing something really smart. But I guess that's a conversation to have with Sorenson's friend Bischoff another day. I guess in about a month for our 83rd episode. Okay, we've got. Did you answer Andy Slichter's question of thoughts on Mick Foley? What he had to say about AEW All Out?
What did he say? I know his WWE We Have a Problem video he did.
I think that's probably it.
Which I kind of concur with. Just dude. Last night, Scott Steiner's son or
Rick Steiner's son, Scott's nephew.
He looks like Scott, which is weird.
You know what's really weird? This is how I described him to my brother today because he hadn't seen it. I said he looks like Rick, like 100% Rick with Scott's build, yet still Rick's body. Yeah. Like I can't explain that. But
I'm just annoyed by that new name.
Stupid.
It's stupid. Braun Breaker. What the fuck is that?
What is a Braun Breaker?
You had a perfect name with Rex Steiner.
Yes. Were you the one who tweeted that out? Because I saw.
Not me.
Okay, I saw somebody had said that, and I was like, genius. Because his name is Rex Steiner. That's his last name. So Rex, yep. R-E-X, Steiner. Or Braun Rex Steiner, if you don't want to call him Steiner and you want to say, hey, we know what their shoot name is because it's 2021. The only thought I had was maybe Scott and Rick own the rights to Steiner because of the fact that it is not their name and it is a stage name. They may own the rights to it, and that's a question for Mike Dawkins. But
our buddy, old pal.
Yeah, that's. Which I'm gonna have to tell you something off air about that.
Okay,
that's a Conrad move right there that always pisses me off when I listen to his podcast, and I'll tell Bruce like, oh yeah, that's something we got to talk about off air. But no one would actually find it interesting. I just can't say it on air. Yeah, I thought that was stupid. I'm going to shift on his question, a question coming from me. What did you think of NXT 2.0?
I haven't seen the full thing, but I really like the new set. It's got like a fun, like not the Thunderdome, but like it felt like a music video.
Entering into, I got what you mean.
Like Mel Gibson's Thunderdome,
So I love the set. I thought the way they set up that room was awesome. I thought it was so cool. Yeah. I am not feeling this paint splatter thing at all. It seems like it doesn't make any. It doesn't like. I'm like, what is this? Why is this?
The new logo looks like a hoodie I would buy on the Ocean City, New Jersey boardwalk. Just like. Put little seashells on it.
Yep.
Put some seagulls flying over, and like NXT logo with a bird shit landing on it, and just it looks like something you would buy down the shore on the boardwalk.
Yeah, the color thing. I know everyone's like, oh, they were trying to copy Dynamite. No, they didn't look at Dynamite and go, you know what their success is? They have exploding colors. No, that's not it. Clearly, they thought, I'm sure there was some market study of like what's like a popular thing now for commercials or shows or whatever it is. Yeah. It doesn't make sense. It looks weird. It looks like if this had been a specific pay-per-view and that was the theme for the pay-per-view, I would have gone, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. They made the posts have all the paint color, the ring. I would have been like, that's kind of neat. That looks cool for one time. But the fact that they got rid of the NXT turnbuckle pads and it's just WWE, the fact that they're white ropes instead of the yellow or gold or whatever, why couldn't they have just stayed with the gold and black? And I mean, you could have brightened it up. You could have done, it's just, I think it looks terrible, and I don't think it's going to last this look.
The fans need to speak up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say I'm predicting right now within a year's time that paint aspect is going to be gone.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Really, really bad. And
I'm a loyalist, so I mean,
what's that?
I'm saying that I'm unapologetically a WWE loyalist, because it's all it's what I grew up on. But that's horrible.
Yeah. Ugh. I mean, I also want to point out the fact that when our show was airing on Fight, I mean, that kind of was the way our show opened with just the blue paint splatter and everything. So, whatever. Not saying that they copied us exactly, but they copied us exactly.
Yes.
All right, what else do we have? Anthony Camarada is saying very 90s feel. Yeah, but
in
part of the
color.
Yeah. Let me see. What is this? James Sorenson. Oh wow, man got up to RJ to the airport at 5:30 in the morning after coming and picking us up. Man, good on you, James. Okay, Andy Slichter. First question here he has is, how late will you be sleeping in until the meet and greet Saturday for that long trip to the arena?
The 10-minute walk from my house.
If you're listening to this and not a Patreon member, this happened 2 days ago.
Yes.
I hope you were there. Slichter also writes, and I think this will be our last question here. Do not want to take away from Big E winning the championship since he absolutely deserves it, but do you think this was some hot shot booking due to ratings?
Nah. It's just like, that's what the Money in the Bank briefcase is. And normally it's been a surprise when it happens, but he did the call in the shot before he hit the home run deal. He said, here's a spoiler, I'm cashing in tonight. That's rarely been done. So it's just a cool aspect, I think.
I thought that was really cool. And just because if it was, a change of plans because of ratings, I could see them changing it, but that's not always necessarily a bad thing. I mean, that's kind of exactly what we want from them, right? Like we want them to go, oh, the ratings are down a little bit. The fans don't seem to be enjoying that. AEW beat us in the demo, the demo that's, all important. And they may have looked at that and said, you know what? We're going to save this for a pay-per-view. Why not do it in front of a larger audience on Monday Night Raw? Why not do that? Garner a little interest to tune into Extreme Rules and see where we go from there and everything. And so I think that, people talk about hot-shotting something, but I also think that sometimes hot-shotting it is them doing exactly what we've asked, which is listen to us, listen to what we like and what we don't like, and if we don't like it, please adjust course as quickly as possible. If something sucks, don't feel like, but we got to wrap up the story. No, you've dropped enough stuff over the years. I think it's okay. Drop the crap and get into something. And I was super happy for Big E. I never met the guy. Would love to meet him at some point. But I am such a huge fan of his. I'm very happy for him. And I thought him and Lashley, man, that's a match that I'd like to see like fleshed out. Like I'd like to really see a long match between the two of them, because that was whatever he calls, I don't know, like a big meaty men slapping meat or whatever it was.
Slapping meat. Yeah.
That was good. That was two big ass incredible athletes. That could be a really fun match to watch long term.
Absolutely.
But that's it, Meanie. That's it for today. So I'll see you in November.
Yeah, man.
And actually, in all honesty, I just found out, like I mentioned, that I'm going to be doing the AEW show, and then that's on Wednesday. I'm doing GCW on Friday. So Meanie and I will have a conversation about next week's schedule and see if I can't be here next week again. And if I can't be here, then Adam will be back. If I can be here, maybe we'll invite Adam along for the ride, and we'll all hang out together. But either way, again, my heartfelt thanks to everybody in the Pod Squad. You are all awesome. We talk about how this is a community all the time, but to get the outpour of love and support from all of you that I did for a personal matter that had nothing to do with wrestling, nothing to do with Mind of the Meanie and the Pod Squad and all that. It truly, truly meant the world to me, and I thank all of you for all of your thoughts, your prayers, your kind words. And Meanie, anything you'd like to leave us with here before we take it home?
No, again, thank you. Thank you, Josh, for being here. And thank you for making this thing happen, even when you can't be here with Adam. And thank you to Adam for being the perfect host as well. It's kind of like being in Van Halen.
Yep.
You got David Roth and Sammy Hagar. It rarely, when you replace like a host, it rarely works. But and then again, we've seen it happen with Conrad. Sometimes Conrad can't make a show, and he's got the perfect roster over there.
Yeah.
To make things work. So, thank you, Josh. Thank you, Adam, for making this work. Thank you to the Pod Squad for listening and supporting. Thank you to the Pod Squad who downloads us every Monday. Thank you to the Pod Squad who watches us record this live as we do it. So it means a lot. 78 episodes. It sounds insane, but here we are, and I look forward to what things may come.
Me too. And in the meantime, go ahead and follow us on social media at Mind of the Meanie across all platforms. Follow him. He's at Blue Meanie BWO, and I am at So Says Shernoff. Hey, guess what? We still have a few Mind of the Meanie 2-packs from Cello Toys available. Just because I got a new one and Meanie's got a new one coming, doesn't mean that these are out of style. These are a must-have. So go right now over to mindofthemeanie.com and pick up your Mind of the Meanie 2-pack. Meanie and I are going to get together sometime next couple days to sign a bunch so that there'll be more available, more signed that are available. And check us out over ProWrestlingTees.com/Mind of the Meanie. And then, of course, as individuals, ProWrestlingTees.com/Blue Meanie and ProWrestlingTees.com/So Says Shernoff. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Okay. No, not mine. Yours. Is it Blue?
Oh, yeah, Blue Meanie. Yes.
It's been so long, I felt like I was maybe I was messing that up. But, hey, also check us out on Cameo at Blue Meanie BWO and at So Says Shernoff. And Meanie is there. You still doing that shoot? You still shooting?
Yeah, if you want me to shoot you a well wish over at ProWrestlingTees.com/Blue Meanie. It's like Cameo, but for wrestling.
Yeah, it's awesome, and definitely check it out. And definitely check us out again next Monday and every Monday for another trip into the mind of the Meanie.
Blue World Order. The world of MLW radio never stops.